One of the joys of JRPGs is exploring their vast worlds and soaking up their atmosphere. Some do such a good job at crafting them that they feel like real places you could actually visit. And no great JRPG is without great towns. Some are more memorable for story-specific moments, their music, things you can do there, or are just pretty to look at. These will all be criteria for today's top 10. I've limited the list to one entry per game, but one series in particular will be making several appearances for a good reason. I've stretched what could be considered a town for a few entries, but when it's all said and done, I'm sure you'll all agree with their inclusions. So here are my top 10 JRPG towns. When people talk about wanting to move out of the big city into a small town where everyone knows each other, they must have been talking about a place like Harvest Moon's Mineral Town. Every season has its share of exciting festivals to bring the town together, like the Cooking Festival, the Tomato Festival, and Harvest Festival. Not only is each festival fun in its own way, but gives you, the player, a reason to keep up on all aspects of your farming life. There's also plenty of relaxing ways to get in touch with nature, like heading down to catch some rays at Mineral Beach, taking a walk through the forest, or rejuvenate in a hot spring nestled right next to a waterfall. Of course, the true draw of Mineral Town is its residents. They're also welcoming and willing to share recipes with you, provided that you treat them right. During your stay, it's interesting to get to know each one and their unique stories. And of course, if you bring them enough gifts, or in Potpourri's case, weeds, you might even find that special someone to settle down with. Final Fantasy IX was a throwback to the classics of old, taking on a more medieval style aesthetic, complete with knights, black mages, and grand castles. No town in the game encapsulated this better than Lindblom. The entrance greets you with a wide cobblestone street littered with a variety of shops just begging to be explored. Zidane's theater troupe Tantalus makes its home in the theater district, adorned with a number of lofted beds and a cozy dining table. There's also the Festival of the Hunt, an event where guards let monsters loose across Lindblom's 3 massive districts to test who truly is the greatest hunter in all of Gaia. To get a better sense of the town's scale, one of Final Fantasy IX's cutscenes shows the party pulling into Lindblom's airship dock, flying over the town's sprawling districts. It might not be much to look at today, but back when the game released in 2000, it completely took our breath away. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is home to a number of towns that were strong contenders for this list, but in the end, Hateno Village was the one I had to go with. It provides such a nice respite after hours of adventuring thanks to its cozy vibe. You can take a much needed rest next to one of its many water features, say hi to the ranch's animals, or just hang out on top of a windmill. Hateno Village also has a cool shop that allows you to change the color of your gear, something I took advantage of quite often. Impa's sister Purah also calls Hateno Village home, providing Link with a number of useful upgrades throughout his adventure. She was honestly my favorite character in the game, due in part to her cute design and quirky nature. Hateno Village is also where you can purchase your very own home and decorate it with the spoils you've collected. This was a quest I never got around to in my playthrough, but certainly one worth completing for anyone willing to invest the time. Goldpaw is a Chinese-inspired town whose politics are completely decided by the dice roll of a gigantic statue, or so the residents think. While in Goldpaw, Evan and crew are determined to get to the bottom of the widespread corruption plaguing the town, but it's also a great place to take in some of the most beautiful sights of the game. One thing I go crazy for in towns are the little details, like how houses are arranged or how shops are filled up. Goldpaw has this in spades. Step into any home and you can immediately get a feeling for how someone might live there. The atmosphere is what really drew me to Goldpaw though. The neon signs and glowing lanterns grab your eye immediately and litter the city throughout. A personal favorite part for me were the covered stairs leading to the upper part of town, surrounded by sprawling bamboo. It feels like a great spot to read a book or just go people watch. Also, everyone in Goldpaw is a dog, and for those who look hard enough, there are some pretty clever nods to this all over town. In the world of Final Fantasy VIII, gardens aren't exactly towns in the traditional sense, but more like floating fortresses or training facilities. But in the case of Balam Garden, the site for most of Final Fantasy VIII's beginning hours, I'm making an exception for one reason. vibes. Balam Garden is just such a cool environment to be in. Whether it's one of the many scenic walkways, the central fountain area, or waiting for those ever-elusive hot dogs, I just have so many good nostalgic memories of this place. It also helps that the accompanying song is one of the best tracks in any Final Fantasy. I can't tell you how many times this song remedied sleepless nights for me over the years, simply way too many to count. Balam Garden is also the site to one of Final Fantasy VIII's most memorable sequences, the Ballroom Dance. This of course is where Squall meets Rinoa for the very first time and the couple share a dance together. Fireworks light up the night sky in a stunning cutscene, showcasing one of the most remarkable locations of any Final Fantasy. In a lot of ways, Ding Dong Dell is a prototypical RPG castle town with its stone structures and flowers filling the town with bright colors, but what really sets it apart are the details. A giant cat named Tom is the town's king, so naturally, the town would reflect one of his favorite commodities, fish. This is on display in a variety of ways all across town, like fountains, cobblestone, and various other decorations. From a story perspective, it's fitting that Ding Dong Dell is the very first town you visit when you travel to Mr. Drippy's world. It sets a nice, lighthearted tone for the rest of the adventure and clearly distinguishes itself from Oliver's American-inspired home of Motorville. When it comes right down to it, Ding Dong Dell is just a jolly place to be. Citizens are always smiling and seem to be having a great time. The town theme also evokes a strong fantasy feel with its melodic flutes and sweeping string sections. From the gorgeous color palette to its charming feline denizens, it's a town I simply can't get enough of. Of all the incredible locations in the Final Fantasy universe, nothing quite tops the bustling town of Rabanastor. It serves as a bit of a hub town through your adventure, as you'll return quite often for new story moments, to upgrade your equipment, and take on new hunts. What stands out most about Rabanastor though is how alive it feels. Whether you're shopping at the Muthru Bazaar, checking the notice board at the Sand Sea, or simply taking a stroll through Lowtown, it seems like there's always a new activity to partake in or secret item to discover. Rabanastor is likely the most diverse town in any Final Fantasy as well. You mostly have Humes, but there's also plenty of Bonga, Viera, and Moogles, not to mention a Chocobo or two. I'm also a sucker for tropical settings in RPGs, which frankly there aren't enough of, and Rabanastor's Oasis vibe just really does it for me. Its numerous fountains, palm trees, and small shops keep me wanting to explore it forever. Its theme song is also quite jolly and adds to the tropical vibe that much more. There are so many things you look for in a great RPG town, and Rabanastor pretty much has it all. I probably could have made an entire list of just Dragon Quest XI towns, but after narrowing it down, Helia Door seemed like the only right choice. It's the first big town you visit in the game and it just leaves you in awe. I know when I first got there in my time playing, I wanted to explore every nook and cranny, and explore I did. Each house is meticulously decorated from top to bottom with plenty of secrets to discover for those willing to check. And that's one of the best things I can say about Helia Door. It makes you want to explore every inch of it. It achieves this by not only looking gorgeous, but rewarding you for exploring by leaving items everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean everywhere. Even if you aren't hunting for items, taking in the sights like the central fountain or the performing band is a treat in and of itself. There's also a slums area with cool story moments and plenty to explore as well. Dragon Quest XI's world has such a huge variety of towns with unique aspects, but Helia Door simply stands head and shoulders above them all. Compared to every other town on this list, Fletz is probably the smallest, but it certainly has left one of the biggest impressions on me. You begin Disc 2 by arriving in Fletz and taking in its many sights. It's visually quite striking and will likely remind you of the Greek town Oia, with its white stone look and vibrant river flowing through it all. The people of Fletz also have a strong belief in the stars, which is made evident with the architecture and interior design all over town. There's also a moment where you're invited to look through the town's giant telescope and admire the starlit sky. Aside from the tropical oil drum music, my absolute favorite part about Fletz is when it gets dark and the dim town lights illuminate the night sky. Even to this day, exploring Fletz at night takes my breath away. Not many RPGs at the time had night and day versions of each town, so it was a real treat to re-explore flats at night just to see how cool everything looked. It's not much to look at today for some, but for the time it was one of the most stunning sights in any RPG. My favorite town in any JRPG without question has to be another Tamina from Chrono Cross. In case you couldn't already tell, tropical oceanside locations are my absolute favorite in RPGs. I love the vibrant, fun, and relaxing atmosphere they create. Another Tamina sets that tone immediately with my favorite town song in any game. Its eclectic mix of bagpipes, castanets, and guitar never fails to put me in a good mood whenever I listen to it. The town itself has so many cool little pockets to explore. There's the bar where you can hire the magician Guile as your guide to Viper Manor, Van's house where you can take in some of the best sights of the ocean in the entire game, and the waterside grave where you meet one of the best party members in the whole game, Glenn. Let's of course not forget about the world famous churros, the shady performer, and countless other cool vistas across town. When you put this all together, it creates the perfect RPG town. Not only is it beautiful to look at with great music, but also has plenty of practical uses like recruitable characters and useful shops. There have been so many amazing JRPG towns over the years, and while none of them have topped Tamina, I truly look forward to the game that does because it'll be something quite special. Well, there you have it folks, my top 10 JRPG towns. They're a little eclectic, but ones I truly adore. Now I turn to you. What are some of your favorite JRPG towns? I'm really looking forward to hearing your choices in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please consider sharing it, and if you're not already subscribed, be sure you do so you don't miss a single video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.